On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we have a good show. We're going to talk, we're going to kind of recap everything that we missed, a couple of things from SEC Media Days with Mizzou. They had the media preseason poll and the all-SEC teams, which, of course, Luther Burden ended up on. So we'll talk about another accolade for Mr. Burton, plus where the Tigers were projected to finish by the media, what we thought about it, if we think they might get higher or lower in the end of the SEC standings. So some good SEC Media Days talk to kind of wrap that up. We have a little baseball quick hit for you as well with a former Mizzou, I guess, commit or former future Tiger, one of our favorite terms on the Unwritten Rule. We'll discuss him, Ethan Bagwell, going to the MLB draft. So Kenny will have that. And then we've got quick hits. Good Ken Sports Shorts did talked some all-time recruiting wins for Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou during that segment. And then we got Tigers in the Wild. Talked a bunch of baseball, had a Max Scherzer throwback in there, talked some Tanner Houck, Chandler Murphy, and then finished with headlines. We talked some USA basketball, we talked some soccer, and we talked some Mizzou admin stuff as well. So good show for you guys to kick off your week, and the Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, July 22nd, and we had a good show last time about SC Media Days. We have a little bit more to discuss on that front. We got some media polls coming out, of course, you know, those much disputed, when the media gets to weigh in. I think the AP poll in basketball, that always gets some buzz around it. But we had the media voting on a couple things for SC Media Days, but I'll start with this, Payton and Kenny. Any final things, takeaways from SC Media Days that we missed? We talked, obviously, go listen to the last show because we talked for like an hour about everything Mizzou said. But any final thoughts on that front, either with Mizzou, anything else you might have watched from another team, anything just to wrap up? Then we'll talk a few polls that came out afterward.
I think we got it all basically. Arkansas kind of has their own foot in the mouth moment when Sam Pittman said embrace the hog. So there's that. That's about all I saw otherwise.
That was comical.
Do you guys think SEC Media Days will ever just not exist anymore? I think they mentioned a couple times from different reporters that, it used to be something where you're not covering this team all the whole year, and you get an opportunity to talk to these coaches and these players that you don't get throughout the season. I mean, do you think there's a chance there that it just doesn't happen anymore? I mean, they have the teleconference every single week, and you can talk to any of the coaches you want to in those.
I kind of doubt it because it is just a way for the SEC to artificially insert itself into the news stream. I kind of think anytime there's a chance for reporters to talk to players or coaches, I think they're usually going to take that. So I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you.
I think, it's interesting. I think that the spectacle of it, like you said, Kenny, is a little bit, dead because all the storylines don't come out during that week anymore. They just trickle out throughout the year because everyone's covering the team for the whole year. But I think, there's probably ultimately still some benefit to it. I think Radio Row benefits a lot from it, where they can just pull aside these coaches and talk to them for 10 minutes and have them on their show, have big radio shows. I think too, if you're a writer, you're chasing after a feature story, maybe you get something there that you write later or something like that. But I was reading some stuff about that too. It's really interesting how they were older reporters were this was made for when there was no coverage of the team for 3 months, after spring practice or whatever. And then this is the first they still call it the unofficial kickoff to the season or whatever. But I think this one this year too was kind of important because he had Texas and Oklahoma. So you got kind of their grand introduction or a real introduction, I guess. But you make an interesting point. I don't know. It's definitely nice for us. You know, we get a pod where we can talk for an hour and a half about Mizzou football in July. So that I guess we'll take. But yeah, I guess we'll see what the future holds there. But some stuff that came out about it from SC Media Days, of course, the media poll for where Mizzou would finish. They also had the all SEC teams and stuff like that. We'll start with where Mizzou is projected to pick to finish, at least by the media. This, of course, you know, always comes back at the end of the season. You know, we see if the Tigers can overperform their expectations. Mizzou is picked to finish 6th. I would like your thoughts on that, but I think we can't ignore the elephant in the room here, you guys, which, you know, yes, we're a Mizzou podcast. Why the hell does Vanderbilt have 2 points to be elected SEC champion at the end of the season? We've got some trolls running through the media days that were clearly given a few polls. Maybe a mistake was made. What the hell happened? Payton, did you get your hand on a poll? What'd you do?
Yes, the elephant in the room. South Carolina has a vote to win. Bit ridiculous there. Not sure what the point of that was. No, I mean, this happened last year. People voted for Vanderbilt. It happens every year. Like, everybody that attends gets a vote, which is a joke. Like, that let, I guess, a lot of people into media days, but, like, vet who you're giving poll votes to. Like, some troll podcast like us should not have a vote if we went to SEC Media Days, I'll be honest. But I would take it more serious than this. But realistically, I think every single vote should probably be for Georgia. So I think all of the votes below Georgia were kind of wasted. But I mean, to see Vanderbilt have half the votes of Ole Miss is a bit that definitely catches your eye.
Yeah.
For those that aren't watching on YouTube, 165 points for Georgia, 27 for Texas, 12 for Alabama, 4 for Ole Miss, 2 for Vanderbilt, 2 for LSU, and 1 for South Carolina. I think, you know, we're going to look so dumb come December when Vanderbilt is holding up that trophy in Atlanta. I think those 2 people who voted for it, I think that's how the system works. It's points are just regular votes. Whoever put those votes in for Vanderbilt, they're going to look like the smartest people on the block. They're going to come out of the woodwork. It's going to be like that Homer Simpson meme coming out of the bushes, and they're going to take their victory lap when Vanderbilt is hoisting that trophy.
So 2 votes for Vanderbilt. And I remember having to literally almost like strong arm 2 people on this podcast into saying Diego Pavia is not a top 10 SEC quarterback.
Hey, we don't have to discuss this. Maybe
I would
there
like to
isn't
move
someone
on
here that's voting that you don't know. Maybe there is someone on this podcast that does have a vote.
Last I checked, Payton's a big Shane
I may have
Beamer
found
fan.
the culprits, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of Diego Pavia fans in here.
I would like to move on. I would like to move on before more gets said. Mizzou picked to finish 6th, you guys. So order of finish based on the points was Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, and then Missouri. A couple of teams after Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Auburn. The next 4 down. What do you think? Will Mizzou finish higher or lower than their 6th place projected finish in the SEC?
I would be pretty happy with 6th, first of all, because that probably is around the 10-2 range. And if Mizzou's 10-2, they'll be in the postseason or in the playoff, assuming one of those losses is not outside of the Bama, A&M, Oklahoma swing games. But I mean, realistically, I know a lot of people are going to be upset, and I'm glad that the team will definitely take this personally. It'll definitely be the STP mantra again that worked so well for them last season. If I were making a vote, obviously Georgia and Texas are going to be above Mizzou. 3rd is where I'd probably start to think about Mizzou, but I'd probably still put Alabama. Ole Miss and Mizzou, that's a coin flip for me. I would have Mizzou in front of LSU. I don't think LSU will be bad by any stretch. I think LSU certainly could be a team that pushes for the playoff. But I think Missouri is the better team this season. I know LSU beat Mizzou last year at home, or at Mizzou rather. But that's not the same team. I mean, they just had Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner, all drafted in the 1st round. So I think Mizzou is better. I'm glad Mizzou was respected enough to be put in front of Tennessee, Oklahoma and A&M. Those are the only three I could have conceivably seen maybe having over Mizzou. I don't think Auburn or any of the others below them would have been that. So 6th is probably on the lower end of what I think they could have been, but not the most disrespectful thing ever to me.
I mean, to be honest, like my opinion, I think it's the perfect spot. I think this team, comes in, off a New Year's 6 win. A lot of that offense is still there. A little bit of changes on the offensive line. Definitely got better with Payton Green, but the defense definitely looks different. I think that's, it's something that we've beat to death. The cornerback room probably not as deep, but there's still a lot of talent that came in from Power 4, Power 5 conferences. Out of the transfer portal. So the defense does look strong, but I think it's a good spot to start. I don't think anyone should be too mad about it. I think the only people you want to be mad are the players, because they've used that as fuel the last 2 seasons. But I think it's the perfect spot. I think if you set like an over under, I think it's this finishing 6th would probably be the spot I would say. I think LSU is still a good team, but how are they going to perform with Nussmeier quarterback? There's so many questions you can have about some of these teams with a lot of the returning quarterbacks from Georgia to Ole Miss. So in the top 5 or top 4 there. So I think it's a good spot to start. I think LSU and Mizzou could be flip-flopped in either direction, not really separated by more than 100 points there in the voting. So I think it's a good spot. It's also probably feels good that the next 2 teams are Tennessee and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's I think that's definitely a good point. I think Mizzou being above them, like Payton said, shows the respect. And Kenny, I think I agree with you. The only thing I'd probably flip flop is LSU and Mizzou. I think Ole Miss has kind of joined that definitive maybe top 4 with Bama, Texas, and Georgia, and then from there it's Mizzou and LSU kind of, and maybe even Tennessee trying to kind of claw their way in and seeing if they can maybe overperform. You got to think like a betting man too, Kenny. If you're talking over unders, they'd set that at 5.5. They'd make that thing hard to bet on. That's where it'd be at. 5th and a half place. Is that what you say? I don't know. But yeah, 6th place. I think it'll be interesting. Hopefully that just pisses everybody off, and it's the something to prove all over again. We know Drink loves his oh wait, not abbreviations. What's the word I'm looking for? Acronyms. We know Drink loves his acronyms. So maybe we'll see what he can workshop. Maybe the word 6th. I don't know what you have the X translate.
Gears are turning in Kenny's head. He's looking for something up.
Yeah, oh no, I got it. He likes acronyms that start with ST, STI, STP.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, what's next?
What's the next STI acronym from Drinkwitz?
My high school was STH. Maybe he likes that. Maybe that's the next one. Season ticket holder.
Season ticket holder. There you go. Put your
get out there and be an STH season ticket holder. That's all.
Yeah. Shouts out. So there you go. Mizzou picked to finish 6th, and then obviously, of course, the other thing with the media preseason, all SEC teams, they released those as well. Luther Burden on the first team for the offense, the only Missouri player who's picked to a team. Yeah, I don't think that's much of a shocker, but what do you think of that? I guess that's maybe the more burning question. Did you think were you expecting maybe anybody else to sneak onto one of the teams? Obviously, I think Luther Burden getting the respect he deserves.
I was quite surprised someone like a Dalen Carnell didn't slip onto the 2nd or 3rd team. I think Dalen Carnell is very, very it's kind of difficult to quantify for him, I guess, because he doesn't play like a traditional position. He's not really a slot corner. He's not really like a box safety. He's like the hybrid. He's the star or whatever they're calling it in Batoon's defense now. He's just a very unique role. So maybe that's kind of factors into it, but I still think enough media people should have realized how good he's been in his first 2 seasons at Mizzou that he should have probably found a way onto the list. I was really surprised neither of Cameron Johnson or Armand Membu were able to find their way onto this list as well. They were rock solid last year. I think kind of very undersung heroes for the team. Everyone talks about how good the left side of the line was too, rightfully so. Xavier Delgado, really took a huge jump, and Javon Foster was just locked down at left tackle for a number of years. But Membu and Johnson at the right guard and right tackle spot, I think we're very underrated. I think it's as good a duo as you can find on a side of the line in the SEC. So I am a little bummed for them. You can make the arguments for others. I don't think I'm outraged that I know some people thought Theo Weiss should have been on the list. I don't know if I would say that. I don't think I would say any of Mizzou's secondary should be on there right now. But I was definitely surprised. Oh, Johnny Walker is another one I think you could make the argument for. But Carnell, Membu, and Johnson were the three that surprised me the most.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think anyone really was left off. I mean, maybe there was a center for the Mizzou Tigers that Payton really likes that probably could have slipped on to the maybe first team. I think he was one of the highest graded centers in the sport last year. But yeah, I think one thing I want to mention here is even Payton and I brought this up last show, and it was just the two of us at the end. But Luther Burden, we said, he's made a preseason first team already, preseason list. But we had to bring this one up just because it was from the SEC media poll.
Yeah. We need news. That's a good. Kenny, did we discuss our rule where once we have one Luther Burden accolade, that just covers all of them? Okay. But yeah, I think this one was worth. Yeah, this is it.
This is it unless we need more news.
Yeah, unless we need Mizzou news for a week. There's still some time left before fall camp, so we give no guarantees, but this is it. So if you want the full, I'll do the full first team offense, I guess. So with Luther Burden, if you want to start getting familiar with some other guys in the SEC, Carson Beck and Trevor Etienne from Georgia, quarterback and running back. Jarquez Hunter from Auburn also made it. The other wide receiver was Trey Harris, and then Caden Prescorn from Ole Miss made it as another wide receiver and tight end. Offensive lineman Tyler Booker from Alabama, Will Campbell from LSU, Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas, Tate Ratledge from Georgia, and the center was Cooper Mays from Tennessee. So there you go. Those are the guys all joining Luther Burden on the offensive side of the ball, at least for the SEC first team for the media poll. But yeah, again, I think you guys, with the snubs, the omissions, if you will, maybe that lights a fire under, the belly of the rest of these guys. So yeah, no Dalen Carnell, no Membu, STP. The fans know. So there you go. That kind of wraps up SEC Media Days. I think it was overall a solid session for Mizzou. Got some good drink moments, not as many as usual, but I think Payton explained well that was almost probably a good thing with where Mizzou's kind of standing is, and Drinkwitz is learning as he goes at these kinds of events. So we'll see what unfolds. Kenny, I'm going to kick this next segment to you because I guess you and Payton are both our resident baseball experts on this show, but I will do a poor job introducing it versus you. So I will throw it to yourself. We've got some Mizzou baseball news before we go to quick hits. What's the scoop, Kenny?
I mean, it's not anything too big. We kind of hinted at it last show.
That's not how you sell. Try that again.
Okay.
Breaking
news. You won't believe it. This Mizzou signee took a lot of money to go pro and not come play baseball for the worst team in the SEC. Sorry. Collinsville, Illinois, Ethan Bagwell. We mentioned it last show. Selected in the 6th round by the Braves. We mentioned it then. No one's going to probably waste a 6th round pick on a guy that's probably not going to sign. So the Ethan Bagwell is going to sign, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and that's two Mizzou commits that have signees that have chosen to go the pro route in Major League Baseball instead of going to Mizzou. And the other one was Titus Sissel that we mentioned earlier out of St. Louis, who was a round 4 pick by the Diamondbacks. So just another guy Carrick Jackson's losing to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that makes 2 now. Both signed way over slot, right, Kenny?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's just the name of the game. In the MLB draft, like Kenny mentioned, guys that go on day 2 almost always sign. I mean, it's it's pretty rare you draft a high schooler on day 2 and you don't wind up signing him. It's not impossible. It's not unheard of, but that's normally a day 3 thing, really. So tough one for Carrick Jackson. Especially because it seems like it was a pretty strong class with 2 guys getting drafted on day 2, but that's the risk you run.
I was going to say, is that this may be a dumb question, I don't know. Is that a good sign, I feel like, for him, though, with recruiting, is the fact that he's landing some of these guys. Obviously, it sucks that they don't end up playing for Mizzou, but it's a sign he's recruiting, clearly pretty talented players.
In the SEC, I mean, even if you're Mizzou, which is, I think, almost roundly agreed upon as the worst SEC program, you're going to get very talented players because the SEC is just a very good platform to show yourself off. So that kind of recruits itself. I mean, yeah, it probably is a decent sign, I guess. It can't hurt to see that Carrick Jackson and his staff are bringing in guys that MLB teams clearly won on day 2, but it doesn't mean as much if they're signed away.
Yeah, and another thing too, you're starting to see it more with NIL is that college teams can sometimes just pull players away from professional opportunities because they have more money to do it.
Yeah.
You look at a guy like William Schmidt, who announced that he was going to LSU. He was a top 15 draft prospect coming into the 2024 draft. And he announced a couple hours before that he was going to LSU. And probably teams weren't matching what he wanted. LSU gave him the opportunity to continue to develop and make money off of NIL as well. But he also just is going to a program that's under Jay Johnson that's won a national title 2 years ago. So there's just a lot that kind of factors into it. And a lot of other LSU guys that were top 200, 300 draft prospects that were high schoolers are also going to LSU and foregoing the draft, or they forewent the draft this year. So that's just another thing that kind of just factors into it.
I mean, I think that when I hear that, it draws back to the conversations we've had a bunch, and with friends of the program, how much investment is Mizzou as a whole willing to put in? Obviously, Carrick can only do so much. If you're talking, money, that starts to become a factor in an already difficult situation that's different from a lot of other big sports where kids have the option to go pro right away, versus kind of having to be forced into the college route. But it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, there you go. Ethan Bagwell, the latest, not playing for Mizzou, but you know what? We wish him luck on his former career. Does this still make him eligible for when we need Tigers in the wild and stuff like that? Are we going to come back and
no,
no, it doesn't count. Former future Tiger. Yeah. He has to suit up for Mizzou. That's the rule. We got to draw the line somewhere. All right. Well, there you go. Got some football news, got some baseball news. Getting closer to fall camp football. I'm getting excited. We're going to see how this Mizzou team can live up and follow up next season. But for the rest of this show, anyway, we'll finish it out with quick hits. Okay, quick hits time. I'm back for another Ken Sports Shorts. I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while, but Kenny, thankfully, has not forced us back into the dark realm that is Sporkle.com crashing our computers. So thank you for doing that, Kenny. What is the Ken Sports Shorts, sir?
Yeah, if you want, me to do any ads, this is cat food right here. Your cat will love this food. Here's an orange if you want to pay for it. An orange right here. So yeah, my
Sporkle ads. Okay, I get it. My bad.
Just live Sporkle reads.
Live Sporkle reading the ads.
No free ads.
So for this one, we've done a similar thing before, but I want to go back to it just because it's changed a little bit. But I'm looking at the Missouri all-time football recruits, and I'm looking at the top 10. So we're just going to go inside the top 10 here. I want you to name the 4 players that are inside the top 10 all-time recruits for Mizzou football that signed or recruited to the Tigers by Eli Drinkwitz. Can you name the 4?
Well, Luther Burden.
Yeah,
that's correct. That's number 1. He's number 2 all time, but number 1 for Eli.
There was another one in that 2021 class, wasn't there?
Burden was 2022.
Sorry, 2022.
Not sure.
Are there any in 2025? Is Zollers in there?
Yeah, Zollers would probably be there.
Zollers is number 6.
Okay. So we got.
Is Jamari Morrow in there?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Jamari Morrow is not that highly ranked.
Kawan Lacey?
No.
Okay. I think it's also. I think he says it like Kiwan. That's
there wouldn't be an offensive lineman because I believe Reichert's the highest ranked one they've gotten out of high school, and
I feel like there was a DB.
What?
Oh,
incorrect.
There is an
incorrect on Reichert or the top 10 part.
Both.
Okay.
So there is an offensive lineman.
Well, Caden Green doesn't count, and he was a very highly ranked recruit. Jack Lang doesn't count or wouldn't be
He
in
would
there.
count, but he's not in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Jack Lang is 23.
That is hilarious that that is the 23rd best high school player, and it felt like another Tuesday when he committed. Man, who else is there?
You're missing a big one from the 2024 class.
I mean, Membu is not. Oh well, Nwaneri.
Number 3.
Yeah. Duh.
Membu was only a 3-star, so it's not him. Is it an offensive lineman?
It is an offensive lineman.
It's not Tollison, is it? Was Tollison 4-star?
No, it's not Tollison.
It is not Tollison. No.
It's not Walters. It's not.
Tollison was a 4-star center. He did not fall into the top 10.
Yeah, but he's not there. Breaker.
Xavier wasn't. He didn't sign Xavier Delgado, did he? How was Xavier Delgado?
This guy must stink because
Foster was bad in high school too. He got good in college.
Javon Foster was like a 2-star under Odom.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not Membu. I mean, Membu was a 3-star. Left guard
it's not Logan Reichard.
Is this guy still on the roster? Mizzou roster?
He's not on the roster yet.
Oh, Lamont Rogers.
It is Lamont Rogers.
Yeah.
That was the wild card. I thought that was the best one.
Yeah, that is.
Think about that, man. 10.
What numbers are what? Yeah, what numbers are all of them in the top 10?
Lamont Rogers was 10. Burden was 2. Nwaneri was 3, and Matt Zollers was 6th.
Okay.
And Rogers was 10. You said. Very impressive, especially when you consider Mizzou's recruiting history. I mean, that is impressive stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. Good quiz, Kenny.
Now you're gonna have to deal with me opening all these. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. You're
Kenny, Tiger in the Wild. Go for it.
Yeah. What's your Tigers in the Wild?
My Tiger in the Wild. I mentioned this, I think last show, but Chandler Murphy was pitching for High Bowling Green on Saturday, and he struck out 4 batters across 5 hitless innings. Good start for him. I wanted to bring this up yesterday, but I'm glad I got to bring it up on today's show. But overall, just been a pretty decent season for Chandler Murphy, who was a day 3 pick for the Rays in 2023.
Yeah, good for Murphy. I mean, when he transferred in from Arizona, I mean, he was actually very good for Mizzou until he got hurt, and then he came back, was not himself. But he kind of helped lead what was probably Mizzou's best season in the last 3-4 years, probably since 2019 or so. So good to see him succeeding at the next level.
Very nice. Yeah. Payton?
My Tiger in the Wild. I'm very sorry, Tanner Houck, but it's got to be you here. Tanner Houck, he pitched in his first All-Star game. Very cool for him. Got absolutely horrid defense behind him. Not so cool. Thanks, Marcus Simeon. And then I think it was literally the 0-0 pitch, the first pitch of the at-bat. He just hung kind of middle to sinker. Ohtani, the best player on the planet, absolutely blasted it. Oh, it was a 2-0 pitch. Just blasted it to right for a 3-run home run. Didn't wind up mattering because Torey Lovullo put in he put in Logan Webb, who immediately blew the lead, and the AL wound up winning the All-Star game. Mickey Mouse, I say, but Tanner Houck got to pitch in his first All-Star game, which is cool.
Why is it Mickey Mouse?
Because Logan Webb should not have been in the game when he was. And Bruce Bochy was trying so hard. Bruce Bochy was literally managing this like it was a World Series game. It was so try hard.
I mean, he might not make it in the World Series this year, so might as well try right now. It's a big game.
Kenny's very pro AL. He's very happy that
I wonder why
I am.
Yeah.
I used to be pro NL. Things change.
That's a good point. Things
Money
change.
talks.
You know, the Astros have been in the NL in your life longer than the AL. Moving on.
That's true. That's fair. All right. So hopefully Tanner Houck's second half of the season is better than the All-Star game performance. I'm staying in baseball for my Tiger in the Wild. A little bit of a throwback here. being on Wisconsin sports Twitter helped me out for a Mizzou segment for this, because I'm going to do Max Scherzer. If you're not watching on the YouTube, what's shown on the YouTube right now is a card from his time with the Lacrosse Loggers, a team in the Northwoods League, which I believe is a pretty popular development league. From what I've absorbed baseball wise from Payton and Kenny. I didn't know he played. I'm sure you guys probably did. I did not know he played. Oh no,
No,
I did know this.
Payton knew.
Yeah,
but kind of a cool card. The Loggers, I looked them up. Lars Nootbaar also played there.
Yep. They're bitter rivals with the Eau Claire Express. Notable Eau Claire Express alum include Dalton Varsho, who I believe is the nephew of longtime Eau Claire Express manager Dale Varsho. Also has a bunch of siblings who have played for the Eau Claire Express, including CJ Varsho. Or I don't think CJ Varsho has played for them yet, but Cole Calhoun also played for the Eau Claire Express. So it's quite the league up there.
Yeah,
and this is
riveting.
a mythic poll.
Yeah, it's amazing that a card. Yeah, he does kind of look the same. Just that plain 1,000-yard stare. Got the big L on the hat.
Is he kind of mewing there?
Yeah, he kind of looks like it.
Yeah, I think he's.
All right, this is divulged. There you go. There's my throwback Tiger in the Wild for you, Max Scherzer. All right, headlines. Kenny, what's your headline this week?
Silly me, I didn't even pull up my headline, but it's kind of a late one that I threw on here. But my headline goes out to Eric Morrison, who is now the new Deputy Athletics Director, Chief of External Relations. Laird Beach announced this on Friday, so we didn't slip it into that Friday show, but just want to give a shout out to him. And of course, we don't really know too much about, what this entails and just, where it kind of goes from here, but just a name to know. But I also think sometimes it's better not to know all the names in the athletic department, just because probably means they're doing a good job.
We have talked about that. Yeah.
Typically, it's a bad thing to know the names of people in your athletic department, other than your athletic director. Did this guy follow Leach from Memphis?
Leach?
Do we know?
Oh, I don't think so. I think he was just like he was a former Mizzou athletics administrator.
He is, yeah. Very cool then. True son.
I like can you go back to the tweet? I like the one reply this got. What? Did you delete? Oh, did you close the tab?
Yeah.
I like the one reply this got that said, "I think I would be smiling in my portrait of being hired for this position. Might help in being involved in external relations and all."
Yeah, these are the new bots that are replying. They just come up with things that seem like they're real and they're not.
Yeah. H Bono.
Only thing.
Never mind. This might actually be a Mizzou
this
fan.
Is a real person. 100%.
Wow, you're calling our fans bots, Kenny. This is great.
They're not our fans. Don't follow us.
Eric, you may want to wear a ball cap around.
Man. Guys, let's not make fun of our new chief.
I'm not making fun of him.
External relations.
I'm just kidding. No, he looks.
Maybe smile more. Maybe put a ball.
He looks like a stone cold chief of external relations. Whatever. I assume it entails some sort of PR. This guy looks like he's going to protect the university's image.
Yeah, he's going to do a good job. Nice. There you go. Another name to know in the Mizzou administration. Payton, what's your headline?
My headline is going to be Olympics related. We're almost to the Olympics. The U.S. Was this like just a friendly, or I don't know what stage
like a tune-up game. I think.
Yeah. So just like a little bit of a friendly. LeBron James layup helps U.S. dodge an upset from South Sudan. So like Knowlton said, it's just kind of tune-ups for the Olympic teams right now before the basketball tournament at the Olympics. The U.S. was on the ropes. The youngest country in the world, South Sudan, just became a country in 2011. They had the U.S. like down and out almost. I mean, they were up 100 to 99, I believe was the score, until LeBron James just was able to hit a layup with about 8 seconds left, I believe it was. Yeah. JT Thor used to play in the NBA. He made a 3-pointer with 20 seconds. And South Sudan had 3 attempts in the final seconds, but didn't convert. It's actually very cool to see South Sudan have a team that goes toe to toe with the U.S. like this. I mean, it's been a very war-torn area, the Sudan and South Sudan. And like I said, they're the youngest country in the world. So the fact that they had a basketball team almost beat the team that's widely expected, I believe, to win the gold medal, although they have not looked good so far in the Olympic friendlies. That's pretty cool. And the ESPN article that we used, if you're watching on the YouTube, it even says like there will probably be a movie made about the South Sudan basketball team someday. So Brian Windhorst wrote this article, but yeah,
shout out. I didn't know JT Thor played for that. I was a big fan of his back in the day. I don't love that the first quote is from Steve Kerr being like, "I did not do a good job preparing our team." Sounds like Greg Berhalter. It's not good.
You like Greg Berhalter though?
I don't. I'm not on record ever saying I do. I would like to.
Here we go. Blaming coaches for underachieving players.
They're not out there playing.
They played a wonderful game. Kerr said of South Sudan.
Greg Berhalter should go out there and score.
Couldn't when he was a player either. Nice. Yeah, I mean that's good. That's good for South Sudan. I hope they have a great tournament as well. But that is very scary. I feel like if that would have been a loss, we could have been in a spot of trouble. All right, my headline to finish the show. Before I read it, Payton, Kenny, I want to ask what were you guys doing at age 14? Because I know I was probably playing video games and being a freshman in high school.
Yeah, probably playing
same thing here.
Black Ops 3.
Yeah. Well, this guy named Kevin Sullivan was making his professional debut in the MLS at 14. He broke a record from a guy named Freddie Adu, who was like kind of this mythic legend. I think he was drafted in like 2004, also 14. He got his record for the youngest player to ever make an appearance in an MLS game, beaten by this guy named Kevin Sullivan. I think he's like 14 years, 200 something days old. Before he will not be 21 when the 2030 World Cup starts. He will still be 20. I just think it's
so. Is he supposed to be like a prodigy? Like, is he that?
Yeah.
Good?
So he plays for Philadelphia. He's from Philadelphia. He's going to go to Manchester City when he turns 18, which is still 4 years from now. So yeah, he's probably going to be. He might be the next big thing, and he's American. So maybe we have a future star on our hands. I also like to just kind of exemplify how crazy a record this is. I believe the youngest pro in the Big Four sports in America since like 1970 is Andrew Bynum, who was 18 when he played for the Lakers. So Kevin Sullivan beats that by about 4 years. So there you go.
That's something, man. Good Lord.
You're good enough. You're old enough in that sport.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Pulisic when he went pro?
So Pulisic was in like academies over in Europe when he was probably Kevin Sullivan's age, but he didn't make his professional debut for Dortmund until I think he was 16, which is still crazy young, but ancient compared to this kid. So yeah, definitely will be a name to watch for, hopefully a long time, because of how you're give a reaction there. Wow. Yeah. So I just wanted to shout that out. I'll always try and sneak a soccer headline, but I feel people might have thought he's been pretty crazy, just with how young that is. But yeah, name to watch. His brother's also on the team, so that's kind of fun. His family works. They're very Philadelphia, they have a lot of ties to the team. He said he didn't want to go over to Europe right away. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, his dad's the coach. I think 20.
Oh, that's much older.
Well, yeah, but still pretty young for a professional. But
right.
There you go. Kevin Sullivan. That's
Quinn.
That's all I have to add.
Quinn is 20.
Yeah, his brother's name's Quinn. Yeah. He scored. I believe the Union won this game 5-1, and the Quinn scored, and his brother made his debut. So a nice day for the Sullivan fam. So there you go.
Very nice. Yes.
That's all I got, boys. Payton. Oh, we have a ratio, don't we? We have a ratio.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. This is yours.
This is me. You want me to take this? Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah,
submit this.
It's yours.
Okay, I'll do the ratio of the week this week. This comes from a thread, I guess, on Twitter. Obviously, the new college football game is out. Payton and Kenny have been playing it a little bit. I still download it. Someone tweeted, what is it? OOOBK tweeted, "Road to Glory is terrible. Junior year and haven't touched the field once." Someone with a brain emoji replied, "What college?" The first person said Kennesaw State, and the guy ratioed him, "Stop trolling, be for real." That got 776 likes. His Kennesaw State tweet got 100. So putting yourself on blast a little bit. Couldn't make it at Kennesaw State.
This guy, I saw this thread on Twitter, was getting smoked in the comments for this. I mean, so bad. I mean, people were like, this. It's kind of one of the funnier, like, because like obviously since the game has come out, like Twitter has just been a lot of just making jokes about like stuff in this game. It's been a very fun, like kind of sub niche of Twitter, but this one kind of took the cake. I mean, people were lighting him up for it. It was so good.
Yeah, I saw some people tweeting the whole like LinkedIn might be time to move on. You know, like they tweet for all these like 5th year and 6th year seniors who come back. Yeah, tough start to life on college football for this guy. Couldn't land at Kennesaw State. While we're on the topic too, I saw a guy tweet out. There's a guy who's been doing a dynasty mode with Temple, and I think he lost in the American Championship to FAU, and the FAU football team quote tweeted it and said, you know, champs or whatever. Quote tweeted saying, cool. You know, quote tweet the guy losing.
Tom Herman runs a tight program over there.
Yeah, hard to beat
in Boca. What's so nasty about that, Kenny?
Tom Herman.
Forgot he was there.
I thought that's why you were going to pick them initially.
I like Lane.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. But
yeah, Kenny, how is your becoming the new Lane? Have you gotten on your way with that?
I'm 1-1 right now. I've been playing a lot more of the Ultimate Team. I think it's pretty fun. I'll go back and play some more of Lane tonight. I'm going to put on a visor and channel my inner trolling against whoever my next opponent is. I think it's UConn.
You're doing yours with Rice, right?
Oh, FAU.
No, yeah, FAU. Okay, there you go. Bring a chip to Boca. Maybe if you win a natty and tweet it, maybe they'll quote tweet you.
I'll do it. Yeah, I did get to post something the other day that actually got me some good interactions on Twitter. But there was an Astros prospect that was drafted, and he has a card in NCAA 25 because the Astros are going to let him go finish out his last year playing Oregon football before he officially becomes a pro baseball player.
When I say Kyler, you say Murray. Kyler.
They're not comparable. They're not comparable.
Who's the Oregon guy, Kenny?
Bryce Butcher.
There you go.
Kenny,
he's a linebacker. Yeah, I think he's lunch pail. He's his first guy in, last guy out. He was a walk-on. Yeah, I got a scholarship. I just think it's cool as hell.
His last name's Butcher?
Yeah.
You got to be
it.
You got to be a hard-nosed linebacker with the last name Butcher. I mean, come on.
Yeah. His high school tape is pretty fire too. A lot of Wildcat. He could sling it too, but he was just so much bigger than all the other players. So they just do direct snaps and he'd run up the middle.
Watching
plays.
Watching like high school offensive line huddle highlights is sometimes just the funniest stuff ever. Just these 6'8", 300-pound kids pancaking Johnny, who just got out of math class. It's great. It's very entertaining stuff. All right. Good show, gentlemen. Payton, you got
this one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, what did the roof say to the shingle?
Bark. Roof.
Jesus, Kenny, please save this.
Man, this is a tough one. I don't know if it's the heat getting to me or just this one's really hard.
Not even close. Guys, the roof said to the shingle, the first one's on the house.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little bit better if it was like
that's a thumbs down.
A shingle and a what was the other one? A shingle and a what?
Roof.
A roof. Walk into a bar, and he goes, "The first one's on the house." I think that's what he should have done.
Oh, that's a better one. That's a better one. Yeah. Good job, Kenny.
Thank you.
Joke upgraded.
Why the long face? Says the bartender.
Take some notes, Al Roker.
The horse's name was Friday.
Desperado.
Yeah. Good jokes. All right. That'll do it for the Unwritten Rule for another Monday edition. We'll be back on Friday. Hopefully some more news will break. Otherwise, we'll figure out more former future Missouri Tigers to talk about. You know, we'll find a way. We're getting close to August. Really excited to dive into fall camp content and stuff. And, you know, maybe we'll do a dynasty mode for Mizzou on college football. We'll fire Drink, usher in a new era in the middle of when he's really good. No from you, Payton?
I'm in my fourth year at Nevada. I'm locked in.
Yeah. If it's a Nevada Mizzou national championship, you're running up the score.
Sorry, Eli. Wolfpack by 90.
Pack. Yeah.
Hashtag one pack. Hashtag Reno Dogs. Hashtag Battleborn.
Go follow Payton on Twitter for updates to his Nevada Dynasty. All right. That'll do it for the Unwritten Rule. We will see you guys on Friday.